This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the hard work's only just begun. The clean-up continues as the City Council assesses damage from the floods. Feeling the pinch from rising Queenstown house prices, how a scheme to help first home buyers is now struggling. And welcoming migrants with open arms, what Southland is doing to make its new residents feel more at home. Good evening, I'm Callum Proctor. The Dunedin City Council has shifted its priorities to information gathering post-flood as clean-up operations following the weekend's wild weather continue today. Recovery Manager Simon Pickford says the council is getting an accurate picture of the situation for residents who have been evacuated.
The immediate damage from the weekend's devastating floods across the Otago region may have passed, but the hard work continues for the Dunedin City Council's clean-up operation. There were a number of significant floods around the city over the weekend. This video shows the effect of the floods on a Cape Saunders crib. A resident awoke to a torrent of mud flowing down the hillside above, driving the rented cottage off its piles and splitting the building in two. And about 10 houses in Harrington Point have been affected by flooding, with many residents anxiously awaiting further forecast rain.
On April, we lost a lot of stuff, and this lot we've lost a lot of stuff as well.
So there was flooding here in April?
Yep, and Easter. Every time it rains, this property floods.
Several farms across Otago and Canterbury were also submerged during the weather event. This video shows the owners of a South Canterbury farm trying to coax their horses and ponies to safety across raging floodwaters.
Oh my gosh. Come on! Come on, Thunder!
And Invercargill resident Dee Knapp was out checking for new lambs on his property when he stumbled across this baby seal far from home in the middle of his field. Evacuated residents from about 130 properties in the Henley and Tairi areas have not been able to return to their homes. Recovery Manager Simon Pickford says the first priority is getting an accurate picture of the situation for residents who have been evacuated.
I'm conscious of the obviously the winter feed that we saw floating in that flood water, and also the fact that calving is due.
At least 30 properties have been visited by assessors already. At this stage, 4 buildings have been issued with dangerous building notices requiring the occupants to vacate. Pickford says residents will not be able to return to their homes until the area is dry enough to assess the flooded properties. Power has been restored to all customers on the Aurora Energy Network in Dunedin, Central Otago and Queenstown Lakes District. Roselle Lebone, The South Today.
Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull is the new president of Local Government New Zealand after being elected to the role at the organisation's AGM in Auckland. Dave Cull says he's delighted by the honour and is looking forward to the many challenges ahead. Cull believes LGNZ represents diverse councils and territorial authorities up and down the country. He says they each have their own unique issues, but are also united by many common challenges which need strong advocacy. Dave Cull's also paid tribute to the work of his predecessor, Lawrence Yule. Well, a Queenstown-based social housing provider says its shared home ownership scheme has become difficult to run due to extremely high housing prices. Queenstown Lakes Housing Trust Executive Director Julie Scott says the trust is having to look at new ways to help first home buyers enter the housing market. Mina Amso has the details.
For 10 years, the Queenstown Lakes Housing Trust has helped new home buyers get on the property ladder. Trust Executive Officer Julie Scott says the trust helped provide care workers in the community with an affordable and secure home.
Particularly people like nurses, teachers, police officers, but people who are committed to the district, participate in the community.
But Scott says the number of potential first home owners on the waiting list has gone through the roof in the last 18 months. She says 460 households are currently on the Trust's shared ownership program waiting list.
It just went absolutely gangbusters, and you know, it's up from 350 a year ago, and it was up from 250 a year before that, so it's increased significantly in the last 12 to 24 months.
Scott says it's become more difficult to run the program due to the rise in housing prices.
Entry-level property prices having gone from around 500, you used to be able to get into an entry-level property, now to it's probably around 800.
The home ownership program means first home buyers come up with 70% of the house cost through mortgage and a deposit, with the remaining 30% paid by the Trust. Scott says the Trust received about $5 million from the government in its first 6 years of operation, but that has stopped.
We used to get a lot of Crown funding, but we haven't had that for probably about 5 years now.
Making it more difficult to run the program, relying on other sources of funding. She says alternative solutions are being discussed with 16 other members of the Mayoral Housing Task Force.
So we certainly hope to be able to bring that to the market soon, and if it's successful, we'll put it into gear at an upscaled pace.
She hopes the new program will help more people buy their first home. Queenstown Lakes District Council told the South Today the task force wasn't in a position to make any comments on the progress at this stage. Scott expects an announcement to be made in the coming months, and the new program would be trialled at the end of the year. Mina Amso, the South Today.
A 6-car nose-to-tail pile-up at Roaring Meg in the Kawerau Gorge resulted in 4 cars needing to be towed this morning. Central Otago Police say one person involved in the crash was taken to hospital with moderate to serious neck injuries. It happened at around 7:15 in the morning when a heavy motor vehicle was parked at the end of a slow vehicle bay. Another van stopped suddenly to let it merge. 6 following vehicles all collided. The injured man was in the last of those vehicles and was taken to Dunstan Hospital. Others involved have received minor bumps and bruises. Police say the road conditions at the time were good, with no ice on the road. Police are reminding drivers to follow the 2-second rule. Well, Southland has a goal of attracting 10,000 more people by 2025, and efforts to make sure they get a friendly welcome have begun. The province has been selected as one of 5 regions to pilot the new Welcoming Communities initiative. Sharon Rees has more.
2 immigrant women, each with their own way of saying welcome to Southland.
In Malayalam, we say Southland Leke Swagadam. Southland Valta Sadarim Piliganna.
How Southland welcomes immigrants such as these is an initiative about to be launched by Immigration New Zealand and Venture Southland.
The Welcoming Communities project is around how we help our local communities to welcome migrants. So for Southland it's really important because one of the goals in the regional development strategy is to get 10,000 more people, and we want to make sure that when they do come they stay. So part of that is making sure that the community, continues the great work that they're already doing, because it's actually not duplicating what's already there, it's trying to enhance it.
For Southland Multicultural Council President Maggie Bartlett McBride, isolation was a big factor when she arrived in the region from the Philippines 12 years ago.
For the first year I feel isolated because I don't know anyone in Invercargill. Yes, I do. Sorry about that. I do know only one person, so I feel like a bit isolated in a way because I didn't expect that Invercargill or New Zealand is a cold place. So I didn't even bring any warm clothes myself to make me feel warm. So I feel like that time I was isolated for the first year.
Invercargill streets certainly have plenty of space for an increase in population. To help fill these streets, a goal of 10,000 more people to the region was set as part of the Southland Regional Development Strategy. The Welcoming Communities initiative is one means of achieving that.
We've got some really good groups out there in our rural communities especially who are delivering a lot of resource for the community and migrants. So it's going to be, again, getting that plan and working out where we can support better, where we can put the resource.
The pilot will be guided by a governance group and will be delivered to communities throughout Southland by Venture Southland, which hopes to involve groups from all over the region. I'm Sharon Rees for The South Today.
Still to come on The South Today, what happened when Todd Barclay showed up in Parliament for the first time since his decision to resign, and where to now for residents evacuated by the flooding. We put that question and others to the City Council's Simon Pickford.
For all your news from the southern regions as it happens, go to our Facebook page. The South Today, connecting you with your community thanks to New Zealand On Air.
From rare to the recent, visit the legendary Hard to Find for your quality second-hand books, with the largest stock in New Zealand and a friendly book-loving atmosphere. For good prices, buying or selling, come visit 20 Dowling Street.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
We're a 25 Moreau Place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focusing on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. Make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
Hi, I'm Dennis Charlotte, and road racing motorcycles is my lifetime passion. It's a massive adrenaline rush, but the high-speed crashes have been tough on the body over the years. I almost felt as old as my mate Ian.
Sportsval, supporting tendons, ligaments and cartilage. And Energy Plus helps replace the energy that everyday living takes away.
Now I feel more alive and have more sustained energy to really enjoy my racing.
Buy 2 packs of Sportsval and get 2 packs of Energy Plus absolutely free. So call now, 0800 502 402.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 15 years. New doors, replacement doors, repairs and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team at 553 Kaikoai Valley Road. Visit www.garrador.co.nz or call us on 488 5676.
Hi, welcome back to Alex Campbell Menswear. Check out our fantastic knitwear selection. 25% off. Possum, merino possum, pure wool, wool mixes. Some of them are even New Zealand made. 25% off.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Jimmy's Pies and Dog with Two Tails Cafe proudly brings you highlights of the Dunedin Midwinter Carnival, featuring the Octagon Lantern Parade, this Saturday, 8:30 p.m.
Welcome back. Mbattles MP Todd Barclay returned to Parliament today. The Clutha Southland MP hasn't been at work in Wellington since his decision to resign at the end of this parliamentary term. Rudy Adrian has more.
Todd Barclay has been keeping a low profile since allegations he secretly recorded a staff member at his Gore electorate office. The MP is leaving Parliament, avoiding answering any questions from the media, since it was revealed he told Prime Minister Bill English that he had recordings of staff criticising him.
Mr Speaker, this question's to the Prime Minister and asks, does he stand by all his statements on the Todd Barclay matter? If so, how?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
Supplementary question. Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Why did he feel the need to interfere in an employment dispute between another MP and a staffer?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I have no responsibility for that matter.
Order. Supplementary question, Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Why on the Barclay issue was he in constant communication with Guinness Dixon over a long period of time.
Again, insofar as there may be Prime Minister responsible, the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, I have no comment to make on that, but I'm surprised that after the members' tour of the regions, 8 weeks out from an election, this is the biggest issue that he's found.
It is not clear if Mr Barclay's return to Wellington this week means he will stay the 4 final weeks of term before Parliament rises ahead of the election in September. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
Well, this year's International Film Festival will see the release of a Christchurch-based film about the environmental plight of Canterbury's rivers. Rudy Adrian has more.
Christchurch-based filmmaker Gayleen Barnes has in recent years become concerned about the state of Canterbury's rivers. The rivers of Canterbury are said to be the most polluted in the country. The original inspiration for her film, Seven Rivers, came from when she was invited to film a walk along the Selwyn River and learned firsthand about the poor environmental quality of the river.
I'd only just got myself a camera and some sound gear, so I was thinking, oh, I've got the gear now, I can just go and film it myself. You know, I don't need to go and get money and funding and all the rest, I can just go and shoot it. So I did. So I went and shot the Selwyn Hikoi, and I actually just sort of discovered, it was a bit of a journey of learning for me about what actually was going on with the rivers. And I was pretty shocked at that point about how bad the Selwyn River had got.
Forest and Birds Colleen Phillip is pleased that the issue is being addressed and hopes the film's message will get through to the public.
Individually and collectively we have to do something. We have to put pressure on our leadership, on our political leaders, both nationally and regionally, to do what they should have been doing and what they should be doing. But also we have to take responsibility ourselves and step up, because these rivers are in crisis. They need us, and they need us now.
Seven Rivers will screen across New Zealand as part of the International Film Festival. The Dunedin premiere of Seven Rivers is early September. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
Well, floodwaters are dropping across the south, albeit gradually in some places, and the Dunedin City Council has been praised for its work during the state of emergency. To discuss the current situation, Recovery Manager Simon Pickford joins me now. Good evening, Simon.
Thank you.
It's been busy times the last few days.
It has been for me and the team. It's been pretty full on for everybody.
So bring us up to date. What's the current state of play for you and your team? Where do your priorities lie?
So the state of emergency was lifted on Monday, so that meant that we officially go into this recovery phase. So for us, the key priority is really assessing what people's needs are. So we think we know how many people were evacuated that we knew of, but also a lot of people self-evacuated. So what we're trying to do now is really find out where they are and whether they have any needs that we can help with.
So you don't have an exact number on just how many residents are out of their homes right now?
We think around 130. So what we've done over the last couple of days since we went into recovery was to basically start a database. So we've got one source of the truth, and then we're ringing around, and we've got obviously contact details through our rating database. So we're making contact with people. We've had about 200 calls from people putting their hand up for help. So we're obviously working our way through those in a prioritised way.
So what sort of help can you offer them? What support are you giving these people who have lost possessions and potentially their homes?
So it ranges really from simple things like they just need to be pointed in the right direction, who they can talk to. Obviously there's some very serious ones like houses that have been affected by slips, and it's really important that we put those people in touch with earthquake agencies, their insurers, making sure that they do that. But also there are people at the end of the scale that are quite vulnerable. They don't have insurance, they don't have their own means, and so we're about to relaunch the Mayoral Fund, and so there is a sort of safety net for people if they've lost clothing, if they've lost furniture. There'll be a fund that people can apply for and use to recoup some of that.
What's the latest situation on the Taieri, on the plains that was hardest hit?
So we've been assessing the Taieri, particularly Henley was badly affected. We did another flyover today, so Henley is still partially underwater, but it's receding quite quickly, which is great. So when that's done, then we can do an assessment of people's homes and see whether they're habitable, and we'll just take it from there really.
What about South Dunedin? It seemed to avoid serious flooding this time. What do you put that down to?
Partially it was to do to the weather, because the rain back in 2015 fell really heavily in South Dunedin. This time we only had, from memory, around 90 odd millimetres. In the Taieri, they got 140, so it was a significant amount of rainfall over the Taieri, and also the infrastructure worked well, which is good.
So what's the priority from here? When you leave tonight, tomorrow, what's your team's focus?
We want to be able to give our teams a really good picture of where the needs are, and we want to be able to prioritise those. Obviously there's a whole lot of infrastructure things with slips. There's 20, 25, 26 slips that we're prioritising. All the major roads are open now, which is great, but there's a number of smaller road closures locally, so we're just trying to address those. We're also going to have a public meeting out in Mosgiel to allow people the chance to ask questions and maybe raise concerns and get access to welfare.
All right, thanks for coming in this morning, and well done to you and your team on the work so far.
Thank you.
Simon Pickford from the Council. All right, after the break on the South Today, Queenstown features prominently in the finalists for the latest New Zealand Tourism Awards, and details of some more rough weather on the way for the South.
Channel 39 brings you a series of 45-minute documentaries looking at the future and the past. Wednesday nights at 7:30, repeating Friday nights at 8:30, only on Channel 39.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
Hi, I'm Dennis Charlotte, and road racing motorcycles is my lifetime passion. It's a massive adrenaline rush, but the high-speed crashes have been tough on the body over the years. I almost felt as old as my mate Ian.
Sportsval, supporting tendons, ligaments and cartilage. And Energy Plus helps replace the energy that everyday living takes away.
Now I feel more alive and have more sustained energy to really enjoy my racing.
Buy 2 packs of Sportsval and get 2 packs of Energy Plus absolutely free. So call now, 0800 502 402.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product, and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Hi, welcome back to Alex Campbell Menswear. Check out our fantastic knitwear selection. 25% off. Possum, merino possum. Pure wools, wool mixes. Some of them are even New Zealand made. 25% off.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Autumn is here. Too late to sow grass seed, but never fear. Ready Lawn is here. Ready Lawn, your perfect all year round solution. Call Ready Lawn today.
Welcome back. A Dunedin ranger fears rare native wildlife may have drowned in their burrows following the worst ever storm damage in the 10-year history of Dunedin's Orokonui Eco Sanctuary. Head Ranger Kelly Goff says the Eco Sanctuary sustained significant damage from the storm on Friday. She says Kiwis should have been able to get out of their burrows in time, but animals like tuatara might be more vulnerable. Eco Sanctuary staff will be checking on the wildlife this week. Well, 4 Queenstown tourism operators and stakeholders have been selected as finalists in the 2017 New Zealand Tourism Awards. Queenstown Resort College is a finalist for the Sudima Hotels and Resorts Tourism 2025 Enabler Award. Real Journeys and Skyline Queenstown are finalists in the category of businesses with an annual turnover of more than $6 million. Additionally, the Real Journeys Walter Peak Restoration Project is a finalist for the Department of Conservation Environmental Tourism Award. The winners will all be announced in September. All right, now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The Dunedin City Council's shifted its priorities to information gathering post-flood as clean-up operations following the weekend's wild weather continue today. A Queenstown-based social housing provider says its shared home ownership scheme has become difficult to run due to extremely high housing prices. And Southland has a goal of attracting 10,000 more people by 2025, and efforts to make sure they get a friendly welcome have begun. So take a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times. Craig Page is with us. Hi, Craig.
Good evening. Yeah, obviously we're continuing with our flood coverage as well, and now that the water's receding and all the talk's been about the Taieri, we've had a look at some of the slips around town. Up at Blanket Bay today, talking to a chap who is basically was homes miraculously survived, but all of the property around it's gone. Heard a bang on the early hours of the morning, didn't think much of it, got up and just discovered basically his garden had disappeared completely, a kilometre long slip around his house and just a wall of mud for him. So yeah, miraculously the house is still there. Good news for Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull, announced today that he's going to be the new President of Local Government New Zealand. That's a meeting in Auckland, so he's pretty thrilled about that, saying that he will obviously continue his focus on Dunedin as that mayor. That's going to be his main focus, but looking forward to the new challenge of the other role. And on the sporting front, we have a look back at the Highlanders season, unfortunately losing to the Crusaders at the weekend, but Steve Hepburn's had a look back on the season that was, the highs and lows.
All right, tomorrow's ODT. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Okay, time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Silberhorn Sportsval.
And the situation first up, another nasty trough of low pressure you can see there is on its way. It'll move over southern districts on Thursday and bring a brief spell of very cold temperatures and snowy showers to low levels, but it'll clear on Friday. To the southern towns and a few showers around here tomorrow with highs of 10 degrees across the board. The Catlins gets fresh westerlies and Gore gets fresh westerlies as well. To the central outlook and those fresh westerly winds here as well with some rain for Te Anau, a high of 9, Queenstown and Wanaka tomorrow getting to a high of 11 degrees. To the northern towns and 13 degrees for Oamaru and Timaru tomorrow with high cloud increasing here. Omarama and Twizel get to a high of 11. For Dunedin tonight, a fine and cold night forecast with an overnight low of 5. Tomorrow, cloud increasing during the day and a freshening westerly wind, the high 11. Thursday, rain with that snow that's forecast lowering to the hills from the evening. And down to Invercargill, mostly cloudy tonight, a few showers at times with a low of 6. Tomorrow, pretty much the same, more showers through the day and those westerly winds, a high of 9. Thursday, very cold, gusty southwesterlies, a day to stay inside with wintry showers and hail, a high of 7. And that's the South Today. You can keep up to date with all of our latest Southern Region news on YouTube, Facebook and at channel39.co.nz. From all the team here, good night.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.